Hey everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today is January 1st and I wanted to start my reading vlog for the month. This is the first video I'm starting to film where there will be no cat in my flat. All the other videos I have filmed or uploaded in December were pre-filmed, so she was still alive back then. So yeah, this is a hard time, a sad time for me, and obviously you will see a lot of videos, hopefully in January, where you know, the situation is what it is, and you will see that before this vlog, but I won't record any of those before tomorrow or the day after tomorrow, so we'll see. But I already have finished my first book of the year. I only had a tiny little bit left of it, but I just couldn't finish it last night. So today I finished The Last Smile in Sunder City by Arnold. This is a fantasy, but I would say it's a lighter fantasy book. It has a crime noir feeling to it. It is reminiscent of The Wolf Among Us, where you follow a character who's kind of a private detective in a world where magic has disappeared. The detective is a human, but in this city there's a lot of like magical beings who are now without magic and you know, are barely surviving because of that. And in this book we find out how the magic was lost, who's responsible for it, but the main character is also solving this crime of a missing teacher who's a vampire, and yeah, he's hired to go looking for this man who isn't really dangerous anymore, but just dying basically. And yeah, so this book sounds a little bit bleak, but it's actually quite funny if you like that noir kind of style. And as I said, it reads very easily, it's quite short. There's also the second book out already. I think a third book is coming out soon, so I will probably give the second one a try at some point. But I was really happy to find this first one in the library because it's just like a fluffy quick read in between, and yeah, it was just what I needed right now, nothing too heavy or, you know, crazy for my brain. But yeah, just an interesting read, a fun read. I did like the main character. He is this like typical stereotype of a kind of drug addict and just someone who's run out of his luck a long time ago and is now barely surviving doing these jobs. But we also get a lot of the backstory, and I think it's actually quite interesting and makes it easy to understand where he is in his life and how he got there and stuff like that. So yeah, I did enjoy this. I think I would have wanted to see a few more characters apart from the main character. We do get a few glimpses, but everyone stays quite out of the story. So I think it would be interesting for the next books to see whether some of these characters get a little bit more importance for the story and the main character. But yeah, it was fun. I gave it 4 stars. I think it's great for what it is. And that's my first book of 2022. So today is the 2nd of January and it's already quite late, but I wanted to give an update on The Gravity of Us because I'm currently pretty much halfway through the book. So this is a very interesting read because mainly this is a YA boy meets boy cute romance story, but it has this backdrop in like NASA and astronauts, which is very interesting and gives an interesting twist to the story. Now basically we follow this boy right here who is Cal, and his father is chosen to participate in a mission where some people will go to Mars to set up the first space station there, basically to learn more about Mars. And so Cal's life is turned upside down. He's supposed to move from New York City to Texas, Houston, where his father will be trained. And the whole idea is that there is this huge like reality TV show that focuses on these astronauts and their families to create awareness in the public for this mission and to help them get the funding from Congress, which I think is a very interesting idea, but it also gives this kind of a Hunger Games feel because you have this like big media attention and you know, you have these people who are like super good at what they're doing. They're like world famous scientists, but they're also put on display in this reality show, which feels just really wrong and weird. So yeah, it gives off that very weird Hunger Games feel to me. And then also, Cal is a streamer, so he does news streams on a platform which is fictional in this book. So he basically comes in and decides to counteract some of that reality show vibe by doing his own streams. And NASA is really grateful for that because they want more focus on what it's actually about, which is going to Mars. But the network obviously is not very happy. And then you have the love story with one of the other kids of the astronauts. His name is Leon. Leon is a black boy, as you can probably tell from the little picture cover, whatever. And his mom is also competing to be on the spaceship to go to Mars. And Cal and Leon are very fast friends and are falling for each other very quickly. And Leon kind of reminds me of Jackson in Sex Ed. So he is a sportsy kind of guy. What do you call that in English? A jock. He did gymnastics for a very long time, but he also suffers from some mental health issues and is not proceeding in this gymnastics career anymore. So yeah, I do like their dynamic, but I think the whole like back situation with NASA is so much more interesting, to be honest. One thing that is like really bothering me is the father of the main character, the astronaut guy, because he has no appreciation of his family whatsoever. He basically decides on his own to apply for this job as an astronaut without asking his wife or his son, who's a teenager and has a life of his own. And then he's basically not appreciating that they go along with his plans. And yeah, he's such a dick, such a dick. And the main character obviously is mad, but also like is trying to navigate that, obviously, because it's the dad. So yeah, I wanted to slap the dad multiple times in this first half of the book. So yeah, that's my reading experience. Super long rambly update. I'll talk to you when I finished it. So I finished my second book of the year. Today is the 3rd of January, and I finished my audiobook Sleigh Bells Ring by RaeAnne Thayne. This is a Christmassy audiobook, as you probably can guess from the title. I started this one right before Christmas, and so yeah, I finished it now. It's a very short book. It was quite cute, quite adorable. It basically follows this woman who is a caretaker for a ranch, and surprisingly, the whole family of the people who own the ranch are coming over for the holidays, and she didn't really know that and is kind of surprised, and then has to deal with all of these people that she needs to take care of. And it is romance, so there is a guy she's interested in. There's also like a secondary character romance in there. It deals with some heavier topics like a lot of grief, some you know, death of a loved one kind of grief, alcohol misuse, drug use, but not on page. It's all in the past, but it is mentioned a lot. And yeah, this caretaker is also taking care of her niece and nephew because their father is in prison for the holidays. And that was, I think, the one theme that I didn't like so much. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I didn't really need the whole prison thing. I think being incarcerated in the US is a topic on its own, and I don't know if that was the right place for it. But apart from that, it was quite enjoyable. I decided to give it 3 stars. It was fun. The writing style was horrible. It was so many repetitions, so many repetitions, especially these poor children. If I had, taken a sip of alcohol for every time this was mentioned, I would have been so drunk after this book, probably after the first half of the book. It's just the writing style really wasn't that good. The author tells you things again and again, and you're like, yeah, I totally got that, like the first 500 times you told me. But yeah, apart from that, it was fun. It was a cute story. And it was a nice romance. I wanted it to be a little bit more Pride and Prejudice-y, but yeah, it was alright. So 2 books done for the new year, which is quite exciting, and I hope I will finish number 3 tonight. Okay, there's a literal Hunger Games, Easter egg in this book. So today is the 7th of January and I'm going back to work today. I already had my first meeting of the day, but today it's home office day, so I thought I'd give you a quick update because I haven't done that in a while, even though I really wanted to. But it just, last week was a bit of a blur, to be honest. I had a lot of weird, unusual stuff going on. I finished There by Tommy Orange, and I'm a little bit mad that I didn't give you a halfway through update. This is not a very long book. I think you can read it quite quickly, but I absolutely loved it. I think this will be my first 5-star read of the year. I think it will be a little bit of a weaker 5 stars, but it is a 5-star, I think. This one follows multiple perspectives of Native American people, and they all in some way want to go to this big Oakland powwow. And we know from the beginning that there are some more dangerous, sinister plans with some of the characters. Others are meeting their parents for the first time and stuff like that. So it's a very interesting look into a community, if you want to say so. It's not that all of them belong to the same community per se, but it just gives you a very broad idea. And some of these stories span a lot of years. Others are very focused in the weeks before the powwow. And I just really loved it. I have now started my journey into reading Native American authors because that's something that I hadn't really done before. I have now read The Firekeeper's Daughter last year, which was a 5-star read, like a very strong 5-star read for me. And now this one, and I'm very glad that I finally started this. I was always a bit afraid that, it would be hard to understand for me, just because as a German person, I don't really have a lot of contact points with that. Obviously, I know all the stereotypical stuff that the last, decades produced in the media, but that's not what I wanted to read about. So books like this and also The Firekeeper's Daughter, definitely great. I feel like I'm learning a lot about these communities, how they live nowadays, and how they try to keep that Indianness, if you want to call it that. I'm still not very good with all the terms, but you know, I'm trying, I'm learning, and this book was great. The ending made me cry. The last 3 pages I couldn't even read because I was crying. And so yeah, I'm very, very glad I read this, and it's very good, and I hope that if you haven't already, you consider picking this one up, because I think with the multitude of the characters, there will definitely be storylines that you will be interested in, and I think the way everything comes together at the end is very well done as well. So loved this one. And then last night I picked up Conjure by Afia Atakora. This one is a book that needs to go back to the library in a week, less than a week to be honest. So I hope I can finish it by then. I will really try to push myself through this because it's a book I'm very much interested in. I love the cover, and it does give off quite dark vibes to me. And it is set in the US around the time when slavery ended, I believe, but there's like multiple generations we're looking at. So yeah, I'm very intrigued to read this. I love historical fiction. I think this one has a magical element to it too, but I don't think it is enough to consider it fantasy. I'm not quite sure yet. But yeah, that's my next read. And then for my audiobook, I have started A Daughter of the Forest, and I have now thought about it a little bit, and I think I will do a separate reading vlog for that book, so I will not update you here, but there will be a separate vlog where I talk more in depth about the book. So if you're interested to hear my thoughts, I'm pretty sure that by the time this goes up, maybe it's already uploaded. We'll see, and then I'll link it at the end. So yeah, my reading is going, but it's gonna slow down now. I have already finished 4 books this year, which is quite cool. But yeah, since I go back to work today, it's gonna slow down now, and that's all right. I have to bring these bags book to the library today. It's really unfortunate because Conjure I just started. I'm only 10% in, but I will get it back out from the library as soon as I can and finish reading it. Then we have There, which you know I loved. And then these 2 books are unread. It's Imaginary Friend by Stephen Chbosky and The Gracier by Kim Liggett. I am still interested in both of these books, but they're like super big, and right now they don't fit into my reading. But I will probably get those both checked out later in the year again and try to read them then. Hey everyone, today is the 12th of January, and I have gotten my booster this week, and it worked out really well. I didn't really have any very negative experiences. I know that a lot of people had like more headaches and body aches and stuff like that after the booster, but for me it was totally fine. I was just a bit tired, but that was all. So I'm very, very happy and lucky, and yeah, it is already Wednesday, so the week is going by fast, and I have started reading Conjure by Afia Atakora, but unfortunately I have to bring it back to the library today, so that is very, very stupid of me. I'm only 10% in, so I'm planning on getting this book back from the library as soon as I can, and then read the rest, because I was really intrigued by the beginning, but unfortunately it just wasn't happening. This week has been so busy, and yeah, it's just not happening. Apart from that, I have listened to a little bit more of my audiobook, The Daughter of the Forest. I'm now at the point where the lady is in the story. I don't want to spoil anything, but if you know, you know. So that just happened, and now it's all about how the lives of these siblings in the household is changing because of that. And yeah, it feels like now we're going somewhere. I was kind of waiting for that part, and it definitely took a while to get there. Like, I am a couple of hours into the audiobook. So yeah, that's what's happening right now. I don't have like amazing updates, but yeah, so far January is a very mixed bag. When I had time off, I could read a lot, but now that I'm back working, it's very hard to find the time to do that. So yeah, I'll keep you updated. So I thought I'd try a bit of a different angle right now. I just came back from work and from the library, and I had to bring back Conjure Woman unread, which was very unfortunate, but it had to go back. So I went there today to see whether I can check it out again, but it wasn't really stocked on the shelves yet, which was very unfortunate. But last night I started reading Luck or Luke of the Titanic. This is by Stacey Lee. This is a historical fiction imagining this Chinese British girl on the Titanic, and I only read the first 2 chapters, but I really liked the beginning. It definitely had the Titanic movie vibes a little bit, with this main character kind of sneaking her way onto the ship. Basically, we follow this girl who is looking for her brother because her father, or their father, died, and she wants to convince her brother to look for work in a circus, I believe. And right now he's working for like a ship. He's not working on the Titanic. I think he's just on the Titanic to travel to his next ship that he'll be working on, and she's trying to catch up with him before he is on that new ship, and she has lost him again, basically. So yeah, it sounds very interesting. I do love a good Titanic story. I don't know why, but ships that sink are interesting to me. Probably not very healthy, but okay. And then I found 2 books in the library that I decided to take home. I had allowed myself 3, but since I couldn't find Conjure Woman, I only took 2. And the first one of that is one I'm very excited about, and it is quite short, so I don't feel too bad about it. It is Open Water by Caleb Azuma Nelson, and yeah, this one I've heard great things about. I think it is a romance, or like a literary romance book, with 2 black characters. So yeah, I don't know much about it, but since it is so short, I think that's the best way to go in, and I've heard lots of praise. Now the other book is A Second Chance, because I have started this book in August and I didn't finish it before it had to go back to the library. And that was the first time in my life that has ever happened to me. No, it's not true. But one time I got lucky and I could take out the book again. But this one, actually someone had reserved it, so yeah, and also I didn't really like it. So I've been in the middle of this book for a while now, but I decided to at least finish this first book. I probably will not continue with the series though, and that's The 12 Kings of Sharakai. I don't know. I think I will give this a second chance in February, and as I said, finish this book off. I have like 200 and some pages left, so it's not that crazy, and yeah, I can take it off my chest. I just can't DNF books. I'm sorry. I'm such a completionist that it physically hurts me not to finish a book, and it has been sitting there on my currently reading shelf on Goodreads for so long, and it's bothering me. So yeah, that's my reading right now. I also have made quite some progress in my audiobook, Daughter of the Forest, which I'm not really updating you on here because I'm doing a separate vlog for it. But I think I'm about almost a third of the way through probably by now. And yeah, making progress. It's a very long audiobook, so that's cool. I will update you when something interesting happens. I usually say what day it is. I think today's the 13th of January. So I think I will vlog for 2 more days until the 15th or 16th maybe. And then I will end this one part of this vlog so it doesn't get too long. We'll see. I'm rambling. So I've read about 100 pages of Luck of the Titanic last night. This is a very fun story. You just really have to suspend your disbelief a little bit with this one because the main character, Valora, she seems to be quite good at disguising herself, and it's, you know, you just have to overlook some stuff there. But it's very interesting, very fun story. Definitely YA vibes. I think this is YA, not quite sure. Yeah, the main character is very resourceful, which I enjoy, and I think that, yeah, it's just a really fun kind of, has some con woman vibes, you know, and I'm intrigued to see how the story progresses. I'm now a third of the way into it, so this is a very fast read as well. Today is the 17th of January and I have about 100 pages left in Luck of the Titanic, so yeah, I probably like a third or something like that, so I will probably finish that this week, and yeah, I don't really have any new updates apart from it's fun and I'm excited to see the ending because obviously it's the Titanic and we are facing a tragedy with the ending of this probably. And then I'm also still about a third into Daughter of the Forest. I spoiled myself yesterday for something that is gonna happen probably soon. It was totally my fault. It was marked as a spoiler, but not which chapter it would spoil. So I was nosy and it was obviously something I hadn't read yet. Yeah, that was just stupid. But I hope that this won't change my enjoyment of the book, because obviously it's a fairy tale retelling. You already know quite some things that are gonna happen, so I think this is more a question of how and less of what. But yeah, it's definitely something I'm not looking forward to happen, but you know, this is a story where you know it's not very happy for a very long time. So yeah, that's my reading for now, and since I want to keep the videos shorter this year, I'm gonna stop now. This is gonna be part 1 of my January reading vlog, and part 2 will be the end of the month, and that will also be my birthday week and stuff like that, so that's gonna be interesting. Probably not too much reading, but maybe a little bit of hauling, we'll see. Yeah, so if you enjoyed this, leave a like or a nice comment, I always appreciate those. And if you subscribe, I will talk to you soon with part 2 of this vlog.